All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Now Teslify. I have got an awesome accessory for you. You guys might have seen it in some of my full self-driving videos, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. I've had it for a few months now and have spent a good amount of time with it, and I am really happy with this product. I'm really excited to show it to you. It is the Teslogic Dash. It is a nice secondary screen to supplement your main screen that puts a lot of the information you'd like to see right in front of you without having to have a dedicated hardwired display. It runs off Bluetooth, and one of my favorite features is Magsafe mount. So if you have an iPhone, or this even comes with the appropriate hardware in order to set this up, it simply is a magnet that sets that right on there. And again, if you have an iPhone, it charges while you're using it. So first, let's unbox this guy. Let's see what comes in the box. We're gonna take a look at some basic install information, which is easier than you might think, and then we're gonna take it for a drive. Let's see what we get. So in this box, we have our Magsafe charger and then a couple of USB adapters. Let's have a look at the main event, if we will. Some QR codes there for the app and installation. They got a really easy YouTube video I watched on the installation. So here is our mount for behind the steering wheel, which is some simple 3M tape, the unit itself that will plug into the car, and then they supply us with a wiring harness, pry tool, which is handy, and then looks like this is if you don't have Magsafe, or perhaps you want to use a case with the magnet, so maybe a little bit extra options there for if you don't have Magsafe. So let's get this installed. All right, so I've got the unit installed and want to give you a quick look as to kind of what went into it. So first you have to do is remove the side trim. So there's a piece here, and then you start to peel away the door seal, and then you can get to the piston or the push nut to just pull that sucker out, and then you'll be able to pull out the entire piece of the side panel there. So that will all snap back in place. You also will pull a little piston plug from the side so you can get to the carpet. And so here's kind of the challenge. And this all really is going to be easy to put back together, but here's the connector you're looking for that you'll use the harness. Already got it wired up to the unit. And then the trickiest part is pulling this piece aside, and there's an empty port back here that you'll install the other piece of the wiring in. Now I'll just stuff this back in there, put it all back together, and we'll be in good shape. So I timed it. You'll see a screenshot here. It only took me 16 minutes and about 45 seconds to do this whole thing. Now it might even take you quicker if you're a little bit more comfortable than I am. I've done some of these sorts of things before, and by no means I am an expert. The hardest part was actually just making sure the trim went back on good, or the door sealant rather, and then making sure the door panels, reassembling them, were in the right spots before you push down. But everything snaps into place. Using the little rivets is super easy. Push in the outer rivet first and push in the pin to seal it. And then again, the other tricky part is just finding that port in the back and then stuffing everything kind of behind it. But trust me, it fits. Again, really only took me 16 minutes. So that is gonna be the hardest part of our install today. Super excited about it. So let's check it out. All right, so all that's left is to just grab the Teslogic Dash app from the App Store, download that sucker, open it up, give permission to use Bluetooth, pair the device, and we're all set. Let's go. All right, so we are about ready to go for a drive, but first I want to give you guys a quick look at the options for the different screens, which is really cool. They have several different options here for you to view. We're taking a look at the one that I like the most. We'll go back to it here in a second, but the great thing is we've got information about our vehicle,
We've got, if you ever have questions about the health of your battery, if you want to look at your charging times, if you just need basic information about your vehicle, it's all right here. So that's a really nice feature. Then of course we've got the preferences as well, but we've got an energy management screen, which is pretty cool, or I should say an energy display screen, which lets you know exactly what's taking up battery and what's being powered at that moment. So it shows you in real time. Very cool. Second, we have the main screen that I like to use, which I think is the most useful. It gives us the gear that you're in, it gives you the range, it gives you your motor power, the energy you have left, current trip, speed limit, your battery, your clock, your headlight status, your odometer, and then it's also going to show us, as you'll see on our drive, some other additional information. We've also got, for folks that are into performance and racing, you want to look at your G's, you want to see if your battery temperature is up to par yet. You want to be able to see if you have got full 100% power. You've got lots of information here, lap times, all kinds of stuff, including a lot of the things that you'd want to know for racing. And of course you've got Google Maps. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. But those are the main displays. We're going to check out this one to go start our drive. Let's get into it. All right, we're going for a little bit of a drive. We're going to also use FSD and see what that looks like, because I think that's one of the things I like most about the Teslogic Dash. All right, so as you can see right off the bat, we are getting a clear view of the nags. We can also easily see that we have FSD engaged. We got the blue ring and the circle, the steering wheel circle. So that gives us great information. And again, clearly we'll be able to see the nags right in our face, including any notifications that we will see from the car, warnings, etc., appear as a pop-up on the phone as well. So really great information that we'll get to see as we're driving. Now there's another cool feature is we have the turn signal indicators, nice, on either side, takes up a good amount of space. We also get blind spot warnings. So if there is something in the way on the red, similar to the latest update, the holiday update, we get to see it red if our turn signal is on and there is something in the way. Now, what I actually do like about this feature a little bit better is that we do get a warning actually before we turn on the turn signal that there is something in our blind spot. We'll see that pop up as we go through here. It's a little bit different than, and sometimes maybe not entirely accurate. I haven't quite figured out, but it will show us yellow definitely when there's a car next to us on either side or an obstruction of some sort. But it doesn't quite match the ultrasonics that we see. Sometimes I'll end up seeing a yellow warning and I don't know exactly what is triggering that and how it's gathering its data. Again, as you see, another nag surface there for us. We've got our turn signal on and we're gonna go ahead and come to a complete stop. And this guy is gonna go ahead and take his right turn because we took too long coming to a zero stop. Way to go, Nitsa. Some of the other things that I really like about this display is, one, again, no screws needed or permanent install in order to be able to use this system. I love that it's powered, so my phone is charging. I don't have to worry about that. And actually, I feel like it's a little bit more efficient than the pads that we have with our Tesla. It stays in place. We get our speed limit sign right there in front of us. And of course, the current speed and everything that we would need as well. So while we don't always need, of course, this information, it's great to have it right in front of us. The other thing that's kind of neat and might be kind of difficult to see, and that's actually due to my mistake in mounting it, to be honest, is we can see the brake light. It's at the very bottom of the phone, but it sure enough displays when the brake is being used, so that lights up as well. And that would probably be my one piece of advice when mounting actually placing your mount for the phone is to place your phone on the mount and then find the position you like based on your seating position and then stick it on. So I did that a little bit, but apparently I didn't know all the features, so it was kind of hard to tell right off the bat exactly that I'd be missing out on that feature. Some of the other things that are worth mentioning is that obviously we don't have to use this app while we are driving. We can use any other app that we wish. So that's kind of a nice bonus as well. So if you would like to use Waze or some other mapping platform, or maybe any other app that maybe you wouldn't necessarily be able to use while driving, not insinuating anything here, be safe out there, folks, but you do have your full control of your phone right in front of you in a nice viewing position. You also will get notifications, which sometimes can be handy, but if you get a lot of notifications, push notifications, that could be a distraction. So I do have a tip of putting on your focused drive mode if you don't wish to be overwhelmed by some of those notifications. So as we can see here, we're getting the yellow indicator. Again, I'm not entirely sure what that yellow indicator is. We don't have anything on our left side. So it's just a little thing. Like I said, when there is a vehicle or an obstruction there, it's on, and so that makes sense. But clearly it shows you things or false alerts, or at least I'm not entirely sure what it's trying to say. So let's, for the sake of it, just go ahead and move over to our G meter and kind of our racing screen, if you will. So again, the nice thing, we get battery temperature on here and then a top performance as well. So right now I have got a 75% power limited. Not entirely sure why that would be. Perhaps I'm not at full battery. I'm at 57%, so that could be an issue. And we can also see, we tap, there we go. So we can see our percentage as well. So there are a few things similar to the Tesla screen that we can view that can be handy. But you can see our current Gs, and we can also see exactly the amount of horsepower being used, and then we can also see when the regen is kicking in, which is kind of cool too. So if that's information you like, it's good to have that on there as well. As you can see, we're still getting the notifications from the full self-driving. So while we don't have the full self-driving indicator here, we still do get those pop-up notifications at least. So there's the yellow indicator. We do again have a truck coming up on our left, and again, I like that feature because if you have the current setup on the Tesla is if you turn on the turn signal, then you get the red indicator. And I feel sometimes, of course not always, but sometimes that might be a little bit too late. I'm kind of the type of person that will, and again, it's probably not the best way, I will look, turn on my turn signal, and then move, and I'm usually ready to move by the time I've got my turn signal on. So we're getting a red indicator here, mostly because it's just we've got the road obstruction, not necessarily because we have a vehicle. So there's a great tour of what you get kind of visually and how that can really be useful and helpful to you while you're driving. Again, having that it's Magsafe, it stays nice and in place. Now, here's a couple of things that I wish were perhaps a little bit better. I wish the magnet was a little bit stronger. On occasion, I will find that my phone tilts just ever so slightly, and so I think if the magnet was just a little bit stronger, that wouldn't happen. I also am not a huge fan that it's a 3M stick system, although that does make it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It's the easiest and non-damaging way to add a neat system like this to your car. And really anybody can do it. So that's kind of the good thing. But the bad thing is then it's just kind of, it's stuck on there, and like for me, I can't even adjust this now that I've stuck it on to move up so I can see like the brake light underneath. So, you know, once it's in place, it's there unless you want to get a whole new mount or perhaps add some new 3M tape. As we can see on the screen as well, we can see where the power is going into which motor, and of course the flow of energy in each direction. So not entirely sure how handy this is all the time, but this is a pretty cool feature and interesting to see. And the one thing that, well, I pretty much knew, but just didn't really realize too much how often is primarily when you get an all-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive Tesla like mine, I have the performance model, by and large, you are using the rear motor, which makes a lot of sense, but it's just not something to think about too much. So we can see both of them are used there currently, but it's interesting just to see, you know, just something to visualize that you wouldn't normally see. So that's something I found pretty interesting about this screen and can be really handy for folks that do kind of want to see what's drawing power and maybe what you can do to make your trip a little bit more efficient. And we should totally just be going here. FSD doing FSD things. So another thing I really like about the Teslogic, and one of the reasons why I decided to buy it, was it's nice, one, to not have to buy additional hardware, two, it uses my phone and just a simple app, and three, and this is probably just my skepticism kicking in to a degree, but I like that it is currently read-only, right? We don't have any ability to do any specific commands to the car with this particular version. Now, I did just see that version 2 of the hardware is out, and it does allow for some command shortcuts. It looks like a lot similar to maybe what Enhanced Auto's sexy buttons do, and maybe a little bit more than that. So that is a new product by them, but I do like the fact that this is read-only. We're only seeing and the device is only able to transmit information directly from the Tesla rather than sending information and changing things on the Tesla. I like that from my skeptical side of things, where other devices, they might have access to a little bit more information. I could be wrong, and if you guys know more about that, definitely let me know down in the comments. So overall, very happy with this product. It does exactly what I was looking for. It fills kind of this gap again of, you know, it's nice that the S and X have these additional heads-up screens that you can kind of see, but still, one of the best things about the Y and the 3 is the large display for FSD, etc. I like that portion. So we kind of get best of both worlds here. We get a lot of the good information that we as drivers need to see and want to see right away, but then the large FSD display, should we choose to use that as well. I've had a lot of great experience with this product. I do highly recommend it. I'm not being paid for this. They did send me the device to test and install, but they had no bearing on influence of what I was going to say and how I was going to review it. So shout out to the Teslogic team for sending me the device so I can share my experiences freely with you all. I'll leave a link below in the description for this video so you can get your own Teslogic device and have this great experience on your Android or iPhone device. I really recommend it. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great new year. Now Tesla 5.